if you did like what Jay Cutler used to do with the leg spread thing with the wheel, yeah, bring that in there with you.
Bring it in the sauna, yeah.
Not the weirdest thing people see in saunas,
That's true.
Man. I've been seeing some shit at my gym, dude. I'm at a chain gym.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, you walk in the change room, it's like I haven't seen old man ass and balls in a long time because my gym like never had that. Like no one ever, like I guess a couple times, but like man, it's like every day I walk in the change room. I don't really care, but it's like just the way they flaunt it and like literally don't give a shit. I'm just like
doing pretty good.
Yeah. How's post prep been?
It's been good. Like the first week was tough just because like I kind of had to like decide on what I was gonna do, and I kind of once I got over that hurdle of like deciding to give my body a bit of a break and focus more towards next year, just like kind of like let a bit of a weight off my shoulders just to be able to reset and like refocus and make sure that like when I do come back to the stage that it's it's my best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you feel about your since you only did one show in 2022?
Yeah, I just did the Toronto Pro. That was the only one I did. Yeah.
So like how are your feelings of say 2021 compared to 2022 for a competitive season?
Well, 2021 was definitely a better year for me in regards to like placings and peaking my body thing, because like I prepped myself for all my shows in 2021, and it went well for me. I got last year I got 6th at the Arnold's in UK. I got 6th in Reed at the Legion Muscle Fest, and then I got 3rd in the Toronto Pro to finish off the season. But yeah, then going into this year, I would say 2021 was definitely a better year for me. The mistake I made coming into this year was trying to not give my body a real off season, a real break, and I kind of went back into prep pretty quickly. So that being said, going into prep, I felt like my body didn't respond as quickly as it normally does going into a prep with like body composition changing and such. Right. And I think that just ended up, kind of just like trailed on throughout the whole prep. And then like towards the end, like I was, I liked how I was looking a few days out, and then just the way I tried to peak, I just kind of messed things up and pulled too much water. And so when I got on stage, I just looked way off, like really flat, really watery, almost looked like kind of, not in shape and stuff. But, it's just one of those learning curves where I realized, I think the best thing going forward is to make sure I have that break, that reset, and then going into like the contest prep, just to have, to ensure I have like a second set of eyes going into those final weeks, just to make sure I dial it in 100%.
Right. Yeah. Isn't that how important do you think it is to have that second set of eyes, even if it's not, an actual coach, just, a buddy to, run your routine through and show your poses to?
I think it's extremely important, and it's something that I was always, more on top of doing up until this year. I felt like this year, because I had a lot of, there's a lot of expectation for me in regards to that show, and I think I got a little bit inside my own head, and like kind of, it's like you don't want to show anybody because you don't want anybody's opinion. And I think I got inside my own head with that, and so I was just trying to do it all myself instead of like having that second set of eyes like I would normally do. So yeah, like that kind of came back to bite me, pretty bad. So I think it's very important. I think for anybody, like regardless of the level you're at, I think it's important, just like even like the last like 3-4 weeks of prep, just to have someone kind of, help guide you in, just to make sure that you don't make any crazy decisions. Because, when you're in that mind frame close to a show, it's like, you look at yourself so much that sometimes you can't really see how you actually look. And it's good to have someone else there just to be like, no, like, saying like, yeah, you're on point, or no, you need to get a bit leaner, or, you're really flat, you need to be fuller, like, just things like that, where it's like you can just tweak things and just have that second set of eyes that's going to help ensure that you don't do anything drastic when you don't need to.
Right. So you think, you talk about getting those second set eyes. Do you think you're going to bring on a coach like officially, or are you just going to have somebody to kind of watch you in the off season, and then once you decide to go into prep, like, is that something you're considering?
I don't think I'll have a coach in the off season. But like I would definitely I'll definitely be looking to work with someone like as I'm in getting into the contest prep,
Yeah.
just to have that second set of eyes for sure. In the off season, I don't think I'll require it as much, just because it's not the same like level of manipulations as you get into a contest prep. So I think it's more so just the contest prep is where I need it, because for me, like especially in regards to off season, it's like I'm not really trying to add a significant amount of new muscle,
Yeah.
because you know what I mean. So it's
Yeah.
like
You're
I
big
don't
as a
really need.
house.
Yeah, it's I'm already one of the bigger guys, so I feel like it's more so the contest prep where I need the extra like set of eyes and guidance.
Right. And that's looking at how Hassan Mustafa really was able to transform his physique this year. I mean, that could be you, man, if you just need to
Mhm.
dial it in just a little bit more. And I mean, I think a lot of people understand that 2022 is not your average showing. There's a lot of things that happened coming into that show that kind of, you know, Toronto last year versus Toronto this year. It's different packages. So,
Mhm.
how are you feeling looking at like how Hassan Mustafa, you switch coaches, but well, he actually had like a serious coach the whole time. Um, is that you already talked about like you're not really thinking about getting that, but like what were your thoughts on Hassan Mustafa, like on his transformation, and like is that something you would be able to implement?
He definitely brought the condition this year, which was, something people like, and even myself, even watching him for a few years. And I remember even, a couple of years ago going against him when he did like the Cali Pro, and I actually beat him that day just because like he wasn't like in condition.
Mhm.
And it's like the guy's got all the muscle he needs and the body parts. It's just a matter of nailing it like he did. So I think that's huge for him, and I think he's like kind of found the formula that works. And I think because I think he's working with Chad Nichols.
I think it was
Um,
AJ Sims, but
was it AJ
let me
Sims?
double check. Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, I'm not too familiar with AJ, but I know he's one of those. Yeah, Cement Factory.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
like no, he looked sharp. He was in really good condition.
mhm. Yeah, happy for him because like that's been a big conversation I've said a lot of over the years. Is like I'm pretty sure Hassan's my age. He's like 28. I'm not too sure, but I thought I saw it somewhere that he was pretty young fella. If he
Hmm.
can just dial it in like he just did, and bring that
Yeah,
package to the Olympia, I mean, I think he could do well. I'm not sure where he'd land because it's crazy to think of like the Olympia level guys versus the people that are really competing to qualify. There's definitely a discrepancy. There's a difference.
yeah. I think if he brought that type of condition, you could be in the top 10,
Yeah.
in my opinion, for sure.
Well, yeah. Especially you think of like where's the button? Especially when you think of like Ian brings really good conditioning. He was just outside the top six.
Yeah, he came
Maybe
seventh.
it was sixth or seventh,
Yeah,
sixth or seventh, and then
seventh. Yeah.
you got like Justin Rodriguez in there, and he wasn't really known for the conditioning until this last Arnold, where he really brought it, at least during prejudging, and then he kind of softened up in finals. But there's definitely going to be some room for these guys to move up. Even like someone like Mohammed Shaban, who won your show. These guys really have an opportunity that if they bring the right conditioning, they could potentially beat out someone with, maybe more favorable shape, or just someone who's just
Yeah.
bigger.
No, I agree. Like, yeah, like who are the guys that have that combination of like, the conditioning along with the size and, a good enough shape, as you could say. Like it doesn't have to be the crazy aesthetics like someone like Brandon Curry or whatever, but like it's yeah, like some of these guys can surprise you. Like when they show up in that condition, it stands out a lot too, right? Like when Hassan, just won this past weekend, it stood out like crazy because he's never been that lean before on stage, and it like stood out big time because he's a big dude.
Yeah. Well, and I was actually really surprised. I want to find Theo's shots, because when I saw him and Theo standing side by side, I was really surprised on how big Theo is. I always thought he was more of like an aesthetic, more like classic looking guy, but I thought he was very comparable to Hassan in some of the, especially the side shots. I was really surprised.
Yeah, he's a pretty good sized guy. Like I wouldn't say he's massive, but he's pretty big. Like, because I seen him in Toronto, and like I think I competed against him last year at the Arnold's as well.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Daniel. Yeah, you know Daniel. Daniel posted some stuff. You know, from the front, I don't think there's much of a conversation, but I thought from the sides, you know, looking at the legs, they're different. You know, different hamstring insertions, different level of conditioning, obviously. But
I think Hassan just kind of blows him out of the water in the conditioning, and he's a bit more muscular.
Yeah.
But Theo's one of those guys. He's got a great shape, so if he really nails the condition, he can easily be like one of the top guys in any of these shows.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's been historically, like, that's been what it is he's been landing in the top 6 for, I mean, every show. So
yeah, he's got the shape, man. Like, when you got the shape, if you're in condition, it's like you're pretty much guaranteed a first call out if on most of those lineups, I would say.
Yeah. Tyler, welcome.
What's up?
I was very, very surprised when Joe hopped in here before you, because Joe gave me a heads up. He's like, I might be a little late, but I was impressed.
Sorry, I was training in Falls again, so I was like training 30 minutes away.
Yep.
And I had to make sure I got something in before I started, because I just started probably the whole time. I probably started and everything, so I want to get some food in.
Yeah, I got my emergency shake just here, just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Joe,
what's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you? How you feeling now?
I feel pretty good, man. You know, like after the dust settles and kind of like resetting and refocusing on what I'm going to do next. So it kind of, you know, I'm feeling good this week. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's good, man. It's already over, right? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's already over, man. Like you learned what you learned, and that's it, man. You're going to get better every single time, right? Like at the end of the day, it's just a learning experience. Like every show is, right?
No, exactly. You know, it's one of those things you just kind of have to, you know, you learn from it, and then you just assess and focus on the next one.
Always another show.
Yeah, no, it's true. Always.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah. Joe, can you turn your camera
Sideways?
Yeah.
I
think it might help.
Maybe the other way. Oops. Is that better?
No, that's not better at all. Okay, well, never mind then.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
I guess I don't know how that works, but yeah, Tyler, how was your week, man? We talked last week.
Dude, it's been crazy. Like, I just feel like I've been like nonstop, and like that's not my life. Like, I'm sure Joe can relate. Like, I do nothing all day. Like, I eat, sleep, and train, man. That's my whole day. And then all of a sudden, I'm like having to go do things and like go out of my comfort zone a little bit, go to other gyms, like drive. I'm like, oh man, like I've booked a lot of physical therapy appointments, to be fair. So I'm doing that a lot too. And then like meeting clients, I'm like, man, like this is not my pace. You know, my pace is a lot slower. It's a lot more on my time. And now all of a sudden I have all these like things I got to do at like certain times. I'm like, oh man, this is like back to adult life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The prep life, it's like you're just focusing on those things. Then it's like you get back out of prep, and I feel the same way. It's like you're on the go like crazy, doing all this other stuff, you know? Yeah. You're basically, you're catching up on, you know, the weeks where you're not doing anything except prep. Yeah.
Oh man, I love the prep life though. Like that's like my favorite pace, man. Everything's just on your time. You got nowhere to be, you got nothing to do. And that's like, it's funny because like people don't realize like that's part of the life. Like you have to literally do nothing a lot of the time. Like you can't be doing things and going places because it's like I have to have my next meal. Like I have to be home to have my next meal. And like I clearly, you haven't missed a meal in years, and like that's where I'm trying to get to as well. Like I was messing around like a couple of years ago, And now I'm like honed in, and it's like, man, I don't want to miss a meal for anything. Like, so I have to be home, and like, also, you know, like you have to de-stress. Like that's part of the job too, making sure you can train tomorrow, making sure like your body's not in a stress state, so then you can make progress every single day, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate the amount of like rest and stuff you actually need to, because like, you know, people like go to the gym on like a few hours of sleep or you know, things like that, and I'm like, you know, I try and sleep like a good 8 hours, and then, you know, take a nap during the day too,
Yeah.
you know, and things like that, where it's like most people think you're crazy for doing that, and it's like, no, it's the optimal thing to do if you're a bodybuilder, especially competing at a high level. Like you need to do those things.
I'm getting at the point where like I'm crashing now at like 5 o'clock, and I literally have to close my eyes. Like there's like no option. It's like my eyes are closing and I have to rest. And I think that's because I'm on the go more, so my body's like not used to that. And so even just my mind, like even having it on my mind all day, like I'm not used to that. So I think I'm like crashing by like 5, 6 o'clock. But it's like, man, like I sleep, you know, 6, 7, 8 hours. And then I try and get like a 30, 45-minute nap in. And even the rest of the day, like, dude, I do like, I'm just sitting, man. I'm just like doing nothing. But like, I'd rather do that. Like not a lazy way, but it's like, man, like I don't ever have that like, you know, like where you feel really super fatigued, like really lethargic. Like I don't ever get that anymore because I'm resting so much. Like prioritizing rest is what I mean. Like I obviously like do errands, whatever, but like by the end of the day, it's like, man, I'm not doing it. I'm not leaving my place. I'm not doing shit for the next like 5 hours, and then I'm gonna basically just eat and then sleep.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of for either one of you guys, have you ever heard of like the issue where, I'll give you an example. You get done with your workout, you come home, and then immediately your girlfriend or your clients are like hitting you up, and you don't have that little window period to transition to that next task. Have you guys ever like heard about something like that, or has that ever affected you with your, you know, your lives or your businesses?
Go ahead if you want.
Sorry, what?
Go ahead if you want.
Yeah, like I think so. Like I always, like for me, like it's everything's like your habits and like a process you follow. So like for me, like, you know, I have like a certain process I follow, like going to the gym and then coming home. And, you know, for me, like I'm the type of person where it's like I like to do all my like client stuff in the morning, like when I'm fresh, and that's when I'm at my like most alert, I guess you could say. So I'm like, I always try and do emails like before noon. And then that way, like my afternoon, if I have to do some errands or whatever, I can do those and then go train. And then my evenings, it's like kind of like Tyler. It's like, you know, I'm just relaxing. I'm not really doing much. So I always like, I'll tell clients, I'm like, if you send me an email, you know, later in the afternoon or the evening, like unless you're someone who's competing like that week or really soon, like you're gonna get a response the next day, because like I'm not, you know, staying up all night just to respond to an email when it's like, you know, whether I make those adjustments today or the next morning, it's not gonna make or break that person's progress. So, you know, I like to stick to that process and kind of stick to you're kind of sticking to like your regime in general. And it kind of like in a sense, you're like telling them, you know, this is how I operate. This is how I do things. I do it like, you know, anybody else who has a job, they follow a certain sequence, they follow a certain time when they do things. So, you know, it's no different whether you have your own business or, you know, you work for someone else. So that's the way I like to go about it. And it's like following that process. Cause like, if you don't, like, I find for myself, if I don't stick with that, then you're getting stressed and anxious about things when you normally wouldn't. So it just it's a good thing for me. And that's one thing I learned is just like, you know, you kind of stick to your process of how you go about your day, and then it's like, you know, you're just kind of going through a rhythm, and it's not like you're not stressed about anything really, because you're just going through the motions of your typical day.
Right.
So everything he just said, I mean, I'm literally to a T. Like it's actually pretty weird. I'm to a T. I don't train. You train later, right? Like you train like early.
Yeah, like I'll train like, what time is it? Yeah, like around 6.
Yeah,
usually.
so I train earlier, like 1 or 2. Like I go 2 meals, but I do like everything when I'm in the morning, like alert. And if you send something after like 4 p.m., I probably won't answer until the next day. Again, unless it's imminent, like unless it's like someone competing or like a quick question for that day or like for the next day, sure. But It's about like not putting yourself in a state of stress. Like I said, like this is my resting time, and it's like other people might look at it as lazy, but it's like this is part of the job. Like this is literally part of the life. And like just because other people don't often rest or they're always working it or whatever, it's like, well, you're not a professional bodybuilder. Like this is literally part of the job. And you know, whether it's really all about perception at the end of the day. But everything he just said was exactly what flow state is. Like there's a reason Joe has made the progress he has made in the past, what, like 5 or 6, 7, 8 years since I've known him. I think we've known each other since like 2013 or 14 when we were first started. Yeah. And if you've been on that routine since then, or at least relatively for the past few years, like I can tell you, like, I mean, you've seen my progress in the past year and a half, which is probably more progress I've made in the past 5 years. And that's literally only because of that routine. Like eat, sleep, train, and then everything kind of fits in between. But like rest is also a huge part of that. And it's like, okay, morning routine, what is it? So my morning routine is like go to the gym, get my cardio out of the way, abs, calves, whatever. I have like a whole morning routine. And then I come back, sit on my balcony, drink my greens, and then chill. And then like, that's when I kind of like meditate a little bit and just like consciously breathe, just be present in the morning. And that sort of sets me up for the rest of the day in like a good headspace. And then my afternoon is my training session. And then I come home for the evening. And then it's like my evening routine is like eat and rest. Like that's basically it. And then just setting your nighttime routine. So it's like, I feel like the morning routine and the nighttime routine are like the two most important. You can kind of get away with having a little bit of freedom in the day. But having that routine, morning, afternoon, night. And as long as you can stick to that as consistently as you can and stay as disciplined as you can, like you will literally make as much progress, like an infinite amount of progress almost, because it's like the sky is the limit. As long as you're on it, your body and mind will always be in a state of response, meaning like everything you do, it'll respond to it immediately because it's not in a state of stress, which is like most people, because their whole day is freaking chaotic because they don't have a morning routine, they have their work day, and then they don't have a night routine, and they're like, everything's chaos. So it's like, that's why their body and mind, especially if they're trying to make physical progress or whatever, like their body and mind won't respond the way it's going to supposed to respond, because there's restriction, or like restriction of flow, and like your day is everything. So like your routines, your habits, that's how you create flow state, especially habits, like sticking to those habits and discipline. That's how you create flow state. So it's funny that he said that, because it's like, that's literally why Joe has made the progress that Joe has made in the past freaking 5-6 years. And then I can attribute that to why I've made the progress that I've made in the past year and a half. Like even from the Hurricane Pro to this show was like a pretty decent change.
Yeah.
And it's literally just because of that routine and being in flow state as long as you can be in it.
Yeah. I think a lot of that, I think about people that crawl out of bed 10 minutes before they're supposed to leave for work, and they'll get like, I don't even know, like one of those like Reese's Puff cereal bars, and just like
muffin and like
cold cup of like how are you supposed to like optimize your time and like have structure, and how do you function? How do you function?
Like your body and mind are already stressed. What you're putting in your body is not optimal for any sort of performance, and physically or mentally, like
and mentally. People notice like extremely if I don't work out in the mornings and I work out in the afternoons. Like they notice like a change in my energy and a change in my ego at work, I guess you could say.
Your flow is off.
I'm not sharp. I'm just kind of like just trying to get through the day.
No flow, man. You gotta get flow.
Gotta get your flow.
No, it's true. And like what Tyler said there, it's like you really have to have like that morning routine and night routine down, because like I always find that too, like when I'm in like a really good rhythm, whether it's in prep or just throughout the year, like when I have that routine going, it's like it's like automatic, you know what I mean? Like you wake up, it's like for me, like I wake up, you know, I take my dog out for a walk, and then I come back in, I might do a little bit more cardio, stretch, abs, yada yada, and then like, you know, I always like to try and read a little bit in the morning too, because I always like to start my day with like some reading, like a daily Stoic and things like that, because I just
daily Stoic.
It puts your mind in a good mindset going into the day. And you know, and that's a huge thing, and a lot of people don't realize that and don't try and there you go, nice. Yeah.
How do you like cardio in the morning though? Like, do you find it helps your digestion and helps your appetite
With what, sorry?
with cardio in the morning? Like when you move, like when you get moving in the morning, first thing fasted, like do you find like that first meal it goes down way easier than the days that you don't?
Yeah, no, I noticed a huge difference because I noticed like say I don't know, like say I'm out, like this weekend I was away visiting family, so I didn't really get to do cardio like Saturday or Sunday in the morning, and I noticed a big difference in my appetite because like I wasn't as hungry, and like I probably could have like if it wasn't just a habit to be like, okay, I'm gonna eat my first meal, I probably just wouldn't have eaten it because I'm just like I don't really feel that hungry, you know. Like but when I do that cardio, even if it's like 20 minutes, like 30 minutes walking my dog, it's you know, it like sets you up to like be ready to eat and like gets the metabolism and everything, so you're actually hungry, you know. And like I find the same thing, like it goes down really easy when you get the cardio in.
I just feel like empty. Like I feel like my stomach's like flat. Like I feel like when I wake up, I'm still like digesting the food from the night before. And every time I go in for like even when Chris, my coach, would say like no cardio, I'd still go for a walk. Like there was no way I wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Even for me too, it's like I might not do like harder cardio, but like it's like even just walking my dog, you know, it just gets things going, it gets you moving, and I think it helps a lot with like digestion and things like that too.
I've never heard of, I mean, it makes sense what you're saying, doing it beforehand, but I've definitely like specifically had coaches tell me to do cardio immediately after. Like once you eat, just get up and walk, and like the walking will help with the digestion.
That's true. Like that is true. But by that logic, you should walk after every meal, which is also actually, if you have the time and whatever, that actually is the most optimal way of like digesting your food. But I find that just with fasted cardio specifically, like I just immediately like am ready for that first meal, and I could probably eat as much as I want, to be honest. Like I could probably eat a lot of food in that first meal if I really, really wanted. But if I don't do cardio, and especially for like a few days, I feel like I'm gonna throw up trying to eat that first meal. Like I'll go from like wanting to eat like 8 whole eggs to like 1.5. Like it just, I don't know, man. It helps me really. I just feel like I'm clearing my stomach, sort of thing. I'm emptying everything, and I feel flat. I feel light, and I also feel like I'm like, because cardio in general, depending on the intensity, can like decrease inflammation. So if your gut's inflamed, like you ate, you know, even like you're trying to digest from the meal before, or maybe you didn't get a good sleep, like just moving in the morning will help sort of decrease that inflammation and then sort of open up your appetite a little bit more.
Have you guys ever heard of using the sauna to help with digestion and inflammation? You mentioned inflammation. It made me think of something I heard on Tony Robbins was talking about using saunas.
Yeah. I mean, it would have to, because it's pulling water, right? So I mean, I feel like it, and also it's de-stressing the body. So I would feel like I don't know the science behind it, but I would feel like it would have to decrease inflammation. Steam rooms, red light therapy is actually one of the best in my opinion, if you can get that. But
what's that?
Well, I don't know like what it is, but it's like a bed, and it's just like red light, whatever it is, like whatever the red light is. It's not like hot or anything. It's not. No, I did that actually like right before the show. That was like on my way to registration. I went to red light therapy. I was tripping out about I thought my leg was super inflamed, which it kind of was, because I was doing some like manual therapy on it, sort of thing. I was trying to like work out some knots, and I kind of got overzealous, so I kind of like really frigged up my leg. And I didn't damage it, but I blocked a nerve, so it's like kind of numb, and it's been numb since like the day before the show. So I went to red light therapy and just sort of try and get as much inflammation as I could, because I was also trying to make weight, and I was like 2.5 pounds over or something, like when I woke up. So I was like, fuck, like I just want to like get rid of this weight, and I thought maybe I was inflamed, but I don't know.
Yeah, I've never like tried saunas in regards to inflammation. I've only ever done it just to like honestly, if you went to like a spa or something, they have saunas, like kind of stuff. But I think it definitely can be beneficial. Like I know some, you know, like you said with the red light therapy, like I've never tried the specifically the red light therapy. The probably closest thing I've tried is like they have tanning beds now that are red light tanning beds.
Okay.
So that's apparently it's supposed to be good for you, good for your skin and things like that. So I've been doing that like occasionally, like I go there, especially when I'm in prep and I want to get a little bit of a base tan. I like to do that a couple times a week, and I think it just helps. I think it helps with your joints a bit too. So yeah.
Huh. So with the sauna, I definitely have heard that it helps with lowering the risk of heart attack and stroke by like something crazy like 50%.
Somebody just told me that actually.
Yeah. And then also it said they also talked about how it decreases your blood pressure, and like you know, I'm not too keen on the pro side of like how it affects his blood pressure, but I know my coach has wanted me to get one of these little finger things so I can test it weekly to see where my blood pressure goes throughout the week. So could be beneficial for, you know, anyone who's dealing with high blood pressure. Try sauna.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Or you could even just sit in the sauna and listen to your audiobook, or, you know.
Yeah, it can be relaxing too at the same time, you know.
Yeah.
Which is also good.
Benefits. Like there's only benefits to the sauna, really.
Right. And if you have 20 minutes, if you can spare 20 minutes.
Like you said, like why not develop a morning routine if you have access to a sauna? You could buy one actually. I used to have one way back in the day, but
one of those little neck ones.
No, it was like a singular, like just a singular little thing, and you just like it had a little bench on it, and you just like plug it in. I guess I don't know, but
it's hella bougie.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what my parents are thinking, but they got rid of it. I kind of wish they kept it now in hindsight, but yeah, I don't know. I would just like go to the gym, do a little bit of cardio, like move for 20 minutes, and then sit in the sauna for 20 minutes, and you know, do some stretching. Like I was
just thinking that, like if you're all warm like that, you could probably get some really deep stretching going in. Like if you did like what Jay Cutler used to do with the leg spread thing with the wheel. Yeah, bring that in there with you.
Bring it in the sauna, man.
Not the weirdest thing people see in saunas, you know.
That's true.
Man. I've been seeing some shit at my gym, dude. I'm at a chain gym.
Yeah.
Like, you walk in the change room, it's like I haven't seen old man ass and balls in a long time, because my gym like never had that. Like no one ever, like I guess a couple times, but like, man, it's like every day I walk in the change room. I don't really care, but it's like just the way they flaunt it and like literally don't give a shit. I'm just like
what is that, you know?
They give zero fucks.
Dude, like they stand there for like a long time. Like it's not like they're getting changed. Like whatever, if you're getting changed, like I don't really care. But they just like hanging out.
Yeah, there's a difference between drying off and getting dressed and just like standing there with like one knee up, talking with a guy or watching the news. Like,
oh man,
like what's going on?
They love it.
I don't know. I don't have that kind of confidence. Like I'll change quickly. I'm not gonna hide in the booth.
I don't really care about that. Like it's more so like there's other people who have to look at your junk. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just like kind of like I would rather, like I don't care, like, but I'd rather just have respect for the people around me. You know what I mean? Like I'm like these guys probably don't want to look at my junk right now.
Right.
Like I don't really care. I'd be like, whatever. I don't really care. Like, you know, we tan and everything. Like, who cares? But at the same time, it's like I don't know. I don't think anyone else wants to see that, especially when you're like pretty old.
Yeah. I don't know where I picked it. It might have been in the Army, but because when I was in high school, like you never like did what I'm about to talk about, but like I think it was in the Army. They always encouraged you, if you need to change, leave the towel. Like, have you ever seen like surfers, how they change out in public? They keep the towel on and they just drop trout. Yeah. So like I always do that if I'm in a public place. Like I'll do that. Like I don't know. Kudos to them for being confident, but like what Tyler was just saying, like there's other people, like we don't want to see like, oh man, like old men just
hanging out,
their scrotum hanging down to their knees. Like it's like it's just not what you want to see before a workout, you know?
Yeah, I'm lucky. Like the gyms I go to, I never have to deal with that. So
yeah,
it's there, in Ottawa.
Yeah. We got a couple good ones. Like the one I go to, 613 Lift, is it's a really nice gym, man. Like there's tons of good equipment. The atmosphere is great. you know, they got a mix of like powerlifters and bodybuilders, and you know, it's like for the most part, it's like a younger crowd too, you know, like people like 20s, 30s.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's great atmosphere. The other gym that I go to, it's a bit smaller, but it's still like, you know, you'd never see that kind of shit in the change room because like the gym's just so quiet, and you know, it's
that's like, it's like my old gym, like that I was training at. I still go there in the mornings, but yeah, the same thing as like no one's ever there. Like there were days I'd be the only person in the gym, and it was a big gym, like 12,000 square foot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like this one. Yeah, same thing. It's like even if I go at like peak time, like 5 p.m., it's like there's maybe 10 people in the gym.
Yeah,
you know, it's never busy. Yeah.
Is there any reason, Joe, is there any reason you go to that specific gym? Like, does it have specific equipment, or is it just kind of like locality?
The first gym I mentioned?
Yeah, the 6-1 something.
613?
Yeah.
Yeah, 613. Well, like it definitely is the equipment, but it's also close for me. Like it's less than a 10-minute drive. So it's location wise, it's perfect. And it's, you know, not that I would go there super late really, but it's 24 hours. So, you know, the access is great. And like, you know, like I said, like I love the environment there. Cause like before I started going there, I never really was doing like heavy deadlifts and stuff, you know, like I didn't really do that very often. And I started going there and it's like, you know, not too long, I'm deadlifting over 700 pounds and all that kind of stuff. It's just the atmosphere gets you into it, you know, and I kind of like that, and you kind of thrive off of it, and it's fun. The other gym is more low key, so it's like when I was like closer to the show and I kind of wanted to just not have people trying to ask me questions or stop me during my workout, I would go there just to kind of be able to just get your workout in, get out. Versus like 613 is a little busier, so I'd have people, you know, asking me questions
how you feel, bro? How many weeks ago? How you feel?
Man, that's like my pet
down, bro. Low? Oh, it must be low, eh? It's like, oh man, you don't want to talk about this with like 30 people. Same conversation.
That's like
same thing every time.
I always that's like my pet peeve question. How you feeling? It's like depends on the day.
I feel like death.
Like it's prep, man. At the end of the day, like ask me after the show how I feel about if I win or lose, you know what I mean?
Literally, yeah, exactly.
Did you guys have any clients do the junior nationals
in the States?
Yeah.
Oh, the pro. Are you talking about the pro qualifier?
Yeah.
Like the Toronto one, right?
Well, I don't know about that one. I was thinking the one that just happened. I guess it is in the States. Yeah, my bad, guys.
Oh no, I wouldn't know.
No. Yeah, I didn't have any guys in that. No.
Did you guys have a junior nationals in Canada?
We had the pro qualifier with the Toronto. So we had the Toronto Pro Show.
Oh yeah.
And Saturday we had the pro qualifier, but that's about it. We don't really have like too many of those in Canada, to be honest. We have like 2 shows.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I need to do I wanted to do a little recap for the junior nationals that happened. Let's see here. Crazy how many people do these shows.
Joe, did you have anyone do that pro qualifier?
Yeah, I had one guy do light heavyweight bodybuilding.
Oh, yeah.
How do you find coaching and competing on the same weekend?
Honestly, like it's not bad, like in regards, like for me, like the clients that I've done it with, because you know, I find like it depends on the client. You know, if it's like a needy client, it'd probably be challenging, but if it's someone who's like, you know, you kind of just outline what to do, and they're like, okay, yep, got it, then it's pretty easy. Like the guy that I had do that show, like he was super, you know, super easy, super coachable, and just like, you know, you got the plan, he's like, okay, cool, and then like that's it. So yeah, I think it just depends on the clients, because like I've done it a few times now, like especially when they have like the pro qualifier and the pro show, and then in the past I think I did it once or twice when I did nationals before I turned pro. That was more of a pain in the ass because you're competing at the same day.
Yeah.
But when they have the pro show the next day, I find it's not as stressful.
It's kind of comforting, eh? Like when you have the Saturday to just coach.
Yeah.
Sunday to just compete. Like if Saturday was just like an off day, I'm like, man, this is like the most boring. Like that. The part about competing that I hate is waiting. Like I hate just not having to do. Can't go anywhere. You're tanned up. Like you basically just wait and you sit in your room and basically just do nothing. And like, I normally like doing that, but like not when I'm like, man, I just want to go compete now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I
So
know
I'm
you
like
mean.
coaching the Saturday because then it's like, okay, I'm busy all day. By the time the show's over, it's like it's nighttime. Now I'm like nighttime routine, like just go chill, eat, you eat all night, and then you sleep, and then show day.
Yeah.
Sorry guys,
No,
I just got a call. But yeah, it's like how what was your guys' name that did the light heavy?
his name was Blade Collins.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he ended up placing he got fourth, I believe. Yeah. Fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's him.
Great legs.
Yeah, he's got crazy quads. He's only like one, I think he was 192.
He's got a really good waist. He just needs to like get a little bigger on the in the lats and arms and everything, but like his waist is like really good actually. His legs are really good.
Yeah. Yeah, we put on like his last off season, we actually, his upper body was a lot smaller than that.
Yeah.
So he's put on some good size on his upper body just to match his legs more.
Yeah.
And like front, like his back shots, I don't know if they have any back shots there, but his back shots are pretty decent. Like his double by and that. So, but yeah, like he did well, and he's a very easy coachable client. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
It's really like I had two they were men's physique, but like they were just so chill, like so coachable that whole weekend. It was actually like enjoyable, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When it's like that, it's like you enjoy the process a lot more, and it's, it's not, there's no one's getting stressed out, just doing what you got to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys have any news on what is it, the Vancouver? That one's coming up?
Yeah, I think it's in like 4 weeks. Yeah.
4? Okay.
Yeah.
Got any guys playing? Is there a pro qualifier for that one? Yeah.
I think that, yeah, there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody doing that one.
I got one guy doing it. He's doing men's physique as well. Chris Matteucci. I actually think, honest to God, like I don't want to like jinx it, but I actually think he could like win, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm not trying to say he's going to win or anything, but like he's starting to look like a genuine pro men's physique guy right now.
Okay. Yeah. It looks like he
That's
does
awesome.
classic as well.
Yeah, we did classic for the Mindio show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was his first show.
Wow.
So that was like our first show together. I think we prepped for like 10 weeks or something. He looks like light years ahead of that right now. But yeah, we did classic. We actually won the overall in classic. Yeah, that's him at the Toronto Pro Qualifier in December, where he took second.
Yeah, he looks bigger.
Yeah, and like that was just between like May and December, and he's like I feel like he's way ahead of that right now, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's wicked.
His back. Oh, if you can look up his, he might be. If you go to his Instagram, his back has come up like an insane amount.
What was it, Chris?
Like from that picture, like even I'm like, dude, what the like his back is like a good back now. There it was. That's where he lost the show for sure. I think it's yeah, there he is.
I'm getting better at this.
Nice.
Oh,
yeah,
his back, you said?
Do you have a back shot? I think he does.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like it's a lot better now. It's a lot thicker. Yeah, like it's like one of his holding areas, but I mean his front's getting pretty tight, so the back has to come in now, right? So, but I was just like really impressed with. Look, yeah, you're back. I was just really impressed with how his back came up, to be honest, because I'm like, dude, we have to like. That's why we worked together from January to now, and it's like, you have to bring up your back, man, because there it is.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
Just thicker, like he's just
more density, more thickness.
Yeah, we really pushed the food, but and we pushed the food around back day specifically. Like we kind of really tailored his training to back. I think he kind of skipped a couple leg days for back, but I mean, whatever, it paid off. He's doing men's physique, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's why we're not doing classic anymore, because he doesn't have small legs, but you're not going pro, right? Like they're not pro legs yet. So we just like, let's just stick to men's physique. And I honestly think he looks like I honestly think he looks like a pro men's physique. Obviously, he'll need like a year or two or something, but at the rate of progress that he's on, I don't see it taking that long.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, like, I feel like it's silly for me to think, but like, I've been thinking about doing men's physique just because there's so many shows. If I ever did turn pro, there'd be so many shows to, to get to that higher level.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely a conversation, and men's physique is getting so big lately.
Yeah, they're big.
Like what Aaron Banks looks like right now is just freaky.
Like Chris is big. Like he's actually a big kid. Big guy, I should say. He's older than me.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron Banks is a monster. And he's
Dude,
tall.
Even at the Toronto show, I'm like standing next to some of these guys. I'm like, man, like I feel like some of these guys might be bigger than me. Like, I don't know. They're pretty big dudes, man.
Yeah. Yeah, they're big guys. Super wide. And I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this, but like, do you think because they don't have to prioritize leg training that they can get more stimulus in the upper body and, allow for more, tissue adaptation?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. Like I'm not saying they don't train legs, but if you're not training legs, or I would say like training legs makes you overall look bigger.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you have a contrast of a bit slighter legs, then your upper will look bigger. And I think that's the case for a lot of them, not because they have small legs, but because like when you stand so when you look at them, they look massive. But when you stand next to them, you kind of start to see that they're not as dense, like they're not as thick, but they're still like gobs of muscle, like just super round. But you notice that, they're not as like thick and dense. And I think they have that like illusion of looking bigger because they have a little bit more of a contrast. And that could just even be the board shorts. Like maybe that's just because we don't see their legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's true. Like they probably, like, I think most of them, like I was, if I think about it, like if I was a men's physique competitor, I probably wouldn't train legs as hard because why would I when I'm not being judged on them? But you could focus more on the upper body training and, depending on the person, like everybody's, I think, responds a little differently, but like, like it's sometimes the increased frequency can just make you develop that even more. And like those guys, like I've seen some of them, it's like, their upper bodies, like, are definitely just as big as, if not bigger than some of the classic guys with the amount of muscle some of them carry. So it's pretty crazy to see like the overall development they have now in men's physique versus like, back when it started.
Yeah. I want to give a plug to one of the fans of the channel, Riccardo Croci. I always think of him as like one of those just freaky factor guys. They're so wide.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Tiny waist.
Yeah. I love this guy. He did so many shows this year. So kudos for him.
But like, how does he not win? Like, is he not winning or what?
It's and I'm not saying anything he hasn't heard before. I always put him in the top predictions, but for some reason it's the back. It's just not as, I don't know if we'll be able to see it in this, but it's just not as like bubbly, and thick. Looks great in this, but
it looks like it's thick, but it kind of, there's something kind of lacking compared to some of the top guys I could see. Yeah, I can see it there.
Yeah, so it just gets a little washed out.
I wonder if it's even just posing, maybe. Like it could just be maybe his posing, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. Like I remember for me, like I changed my posing a bit, especially on like back poses, and it made a huge difference.
Yeah,
just the way you showcase it.
I just did. It was the Friday. I think it was it was the Saturday morning of the Toronto Pro, and Chris was like, he was like, pull your elbows back a little bit more.
Oh.
So I did, and then it was like, dude, that just like added like 3 inches of depth to my back. Which is pretty much where I won the show mostly. So kind of made a big difference.
Yeah, because the guy that was right next to you, I can't remember his name, but that was where he got knocked, was from the back.
Yeah, it was John Kwan, or I think that's his like English name, but I think it's like Hyung Son Lee or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that a tough thing? Like when they use different names?
Yeah.
Trying to look them up.
Yeah, I've gone to school with like a lot of different like Koreans, like Japanese, whatever, and they like their names like Kevin, and it's like it's not Kevin at all.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Common names. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Huang John Quan, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great back. But yeah, I'd say yours was a little bit more 3D effect.
Yeah, he just needs to be a little bit thicker. That's it. Overall, I thought like incredible shape, great conditioning. I thought he was full as a house because you could really tell, you can really see how thin his skin is, like how everything pushes against the skin. And everything's polished, everything's popped. And I think that's a matter of like perfect like water manipulation, but perfect fullness too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he just needs to be bigger. Like he just needs to put more density on. And the pictures don't really show it though. Like when we're standing next to each other in a picture,
Yeah,
I don't look very big in pictures. Like I have like a very 2D look in pictures. But when we're in person, it's completely different. Like that's where like someone like myself, you can see the density. And
those
so
are bad
and
pictures.
like him too, like you can see the difference in the thickness and the density only if you're like in person.
Okay.
Dang.
Wow. Not good pictures. Yeah.
Well, that's obvious because the photographer sucks.
Yeah, there are a few shots that
I said what I said.
Yeah. I think was it Toronto that had the live stream all the way in the back?
maybe it was pretty far. Like I watched the live stream finals, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was pretty far. And I also saw an article that like was saying it was like super expensive too.
$45
Yeah, it
for
was like-
prejudging,
I think
$45
it was like
for
90.
finals.
$90, something crazy. Yeah.
That's insane to me. Like, I mean, whatever, I guess.
And that's just for
whatever.
Sunday. I spent a pretty penny on that weekend. Yeah.
I had to pay to get in. Like that, usually that's not a thing. Like pros don't usually pay, and especially athletes of the show.
They made you pay to come watch the show?
Dude, they made me pay to watch the freaking amateur prejudging and finals or whatever.
Wow.
And they wouldn't let me go backstage. I'm like, well, I have a button. Like I'm literally competing in the show. They're like, you're competing tomorrow. You can't come backstage. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went to go like watch the show. I'm like, all right, I'll just go watch. And I go to show my button, and they're like, yeah, too bad. Go buy a ticket. I'm like, oh.
Wow.
Yeah. And like listen, I appreciate everything Ron and Angie do, but like I just
They're great.
They are great.
I think it's the people that work for them that like feel like they're entitled because they're, you know, watching the door to backstage or something. Because even me, like I remember when I was going backstage, it's like, okay, you've seen me compete here before, you know who I am, and yet you're still like, oh, do you have your number?
Your button? It's
I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I do. It's in my bag. And she's like, well, can I just see it? I'm like,
come on.
Yeah. I'm like, really? I'm like, I have my tan on. I'm like, obviously I'm competing. Like, what did I do? Just get a spray tan for fun? Like, you're literally like, you're like, is this for real? Like, you really need to see it? Like, come on.
Yeah, for real, dude.
I feel like I'm going through like customs at the airport or something.
Yeah, man,
like,
they're like interrogating me. Like, dude, I just want to go watch the show. Like, I'm in the show. Like, people are here paying to watch us. Like tomorrow, like I literally just want to go watch. No, you gotta go pay. It's like $70 or something. I'm like, fuck, man. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I had to go get cash, and like I'm so tired. I'm like, I don't want to have to walk all the way downstairs and all the way back.
Because it was like it was cash only too.
Yeah, cash only. So now I'm like, go find an ATM. You know what I mean? You're a day out. You're like, man, I didn't like account for this energy that I have to expend now.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's ridiculous.
For Joe, I remember I was talking with Tom DuPont, and he was talking about how he had to spend like $300 to go backstage to like help his client as a coach. I'm like, $300?
Some shows are ridiculous. Like I remember, like I did the Arnold's in the UK, and I was just like, I wanted to see if I could get a backstage pass for my girlfriend just to have her backstage with me. And I remember it was like something insane, like the cost for it there. Like I think if you convert it to like Canadian dollars from pounds, it was like $700. It was insane. Yeah. And I was like, are you kidding me? Just so she could be backstage. Like, and the backstage area was like garbage, but like it wasn't a very good setup. But like, I'm just like, why would someone pay $700 to be back here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like,
There's nothing going on back there. You're just sitting there.
Right.
literally, it's just like, I just want someone back there in case you need something, or in case you need like help, whatever. It's like, that's it.
Right. It's not like it's the Mr. Olympia and they're recording like, you know, backstage footage of people pumping up. Like,
I wish they would.
I'd like to see it come back.
Like, I don't know why shows don't hire me or like allow media people to pay for media pass. So I would do like $200 or $500, even $500 times 10. You have 10 media people, they all pay maybe 1,000 if there's like a lot, right? Like, you get 10 people, you're making $500 per person. Was that $5,000? Like, there's extra money to put into the production of the show to have a better live stream, or just to put into the athlete's pocket, right? Like, there's so many different ways that you can make money off the shows. Where you
that's
can
like
put that money back in the athletes.
That's like what I mean with the photography. It's because, like, you know, there's so many, you know, better photographers, videographers out there where it's like they could come in, you know, independently to the show and be doing this for, you know, athletes, right? And like, and like they kind of make it forced that it's like, no one else can come in. We have this one person do it, and it's like, and it's like, okay, but like, no offense, but that person's garbage.
Like, I haven't paid for the picture since my first classic show.
Yeah, like same here. Like, I think the first show I ever did, I paid once and I never did again because it was just, I didn't think it was very good quality. And it's annoying when, you know, you have people that, you know, that are, you know, good quality, like, you know, like Steph I for Nine Media, like she could easily be there, other people, and it's like, you know, it's frustrating as an athlete too, because it's like when you're on stage, it's like you'd like to get the best possible pictures, you know, and it's like when you,
from a promoter standpoint, so I'm just thinking from a business standpoint now. Let's take off the table that we're athletes. I'm a promoter. I want the best quality photos that are going online. So there's 200, 300, 400 athletes in my show. I want I want Will Whitman. I want Eye for an Eye. I want all these top photographers. Like, I'm posting their pictures on my Instagram or whatever. My X amount of followers are seeing these pictures, and they're going to be like, that's a sick backdrop, like that's a sick scenery, like I want to go do that show. So if it's like an amateur show, like Fuad's, for example, had like a pretty cool setup. Like, if you have all those pictures going online and they're like cool edits, like they're like, that's only going to grow the show for next year. Not only the show, but the sport, because people are going to see those pictures and be like, I kind of want a picture, like I work out, like I'm serious about it. I want pictures like that for like of myself. And you can put like, those would be like pictures you put on your wall. Like, those are like real quality, good quality pictures, but you're not going to do that when the photo is a static photo, no edit, no nothing. It's like blurry and posing on stage. Like, you know, what I love about like people like Will Whitman and Steph is like, and I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anyone else, but like they capture the emotion of the moment. Whereas these photos are strictly just a photo of you posing. Like, what are the pose? Like, what about when we're on the side of the stage and like when we're getting like when they're calling our number to get our award? Like, those are real moments that I want captured, and I can't even get my parents to take a picture because if they have a camera, they get kicked out.
Right. What if the promoters had some sort of contract you could sign where the promoter got a certain percentage of a royalty based off of each sale?
They should. You could do, okay, this is my opinion, but you could do a media pass for X amount, 500, 1,000, whatever. Then you can take, a 5%, 10% royalty from each photographer, videographer who, and they register their clients. So I have these clients in this show. I have 100 clients, whatever.
Right.
And here's your cut. So they're not only getting a media pass, like income from the media passes, but they're getting a cut. Now they're getting a royalty.
Yeah, it's definitely a conversation. What about, this is what I've been thinking about. What if they standardize live streams under like one company that did all the live streams, you know, at least for like the pro shows, you know?
So I was just going to say, like, live streams, like there's so many opportunities for live streams. Like, first of all, there should be commentary for every pro show, period. There should be, no matter what. Like, even if it's like, it doesn't have to be like Sean Ray or like whatever. It can just be like,
it could be me.
Sport. It could be you. Like, it could be Michael Brayson. I think that guy would be a great commentator, to be honest. This is bodybuilding for anyone who doesn't know. But those live streams, so you have commentators, you have now if you have a live stream and you have a literal live stream, meaning like it's alive, not just static, you can then add sponsors. So now people are buying ad space, they're buying sponsor space. Like there's more money into the show. Now you have more money for the athletes. Now you have more money for the production. Like you have to think of it as a business where you're selling as much space as you can and also providing as much entertainment as you can. As of right now, with all due respect, like I feel like the sport is just static. Like it's literally just like you're just watching people pose, and that's not interesting. You know what I mean? Like there's no engagement, there's no interaction. Like if I could watch someone talking about the show, and if I'm not someone who's like in on the industry, so like if my parents or like my friends from school or whatever, like they're watching just to support me, like it's much more entertaining and engaging for them to have a commentator explain everything to them and like provide a little bit of excitement, like, oh, like this guy's getting switched out, that means he's getting second, third, or fourth. It's like when my uncle's watching the show, I mean, granted he's live, like he's there, he's like, what's happening? Like he's like, why did Tyler think he was gonna win or whatever? Because I was in the middle, right? Like why did he think that? Like people don't know what anything means when they're watching bodybuilding. It's actually very confusing if you don't know. Like even the first call out, like, why are these 5 guys coming out? Why are the next guy? Why are they moving? Like these are questions real people have. You can't just kind of like expect people to know and just expect people to watch a blank screen of people posing.
Yeah. And that's where I feel like a lot of us, to include myself in the online commentary space, that's where we kind of provide that service. And unfortunately, you know, we're not getting looked at in a good light because a lot of people think that we're just like stealing the content and just trying to make money off of it. So, which I see the validity in that. And that's why actually I've stopped doing it. But I still think that there's a place for it, you know?
But as far as I look at it, like you're promoting the sport. You're creating value to people who might not be fans. You're creating value to fans like myself. Like I only want to watch bodybuilding content. Like I literally, if I'm being honest, between your channel, desktop, and like Fuad, like I will rewatch Pro Chat like all the time because I'm like, there's no other bodybuilding content that I really want to watch. Like a lot of it's sensationalism, and that is where people are using the sport for money. Drama, and it's like shit talking people, and like I don't really want to watch that. Like that doesn't promote the sport. It doesn't do anything for anyone. Like I just want to watch like bodybuilding content. So as far as you're promoting the shows, as far as I'm concerned, it just sucks when you're waiting on footage all day if there's no live stream, or if it's like $200 for the live stream, then you're like getting iPhone footage sent to you, or like you have to steal that iPhone footage because it was sent to like Bodybuilders Without Borders, and you're like, well, that's all I can find right now, right?
Yeah, I mean that's most of it is just using whatever either Daniel posts or what Buys and Tries posts, and they're just posting stuff that's getting sent to them anyways. So it's definitely a conversation. I would like to see some sort of standardization with the live streams, bringing the camera to the front, put the live stream next to where like MD and Flex and all those other media people are having their tripods. Put the live stream right there, and then put some commentators on the side, and then, you know, have a camera 1, camera 2.
Yeah, my opinion is, and like, okay, I'm gonna just say I have a sport management degree. Like I have a bachelor's in sport management, so I literally studied this for 5 years. I would say hire a third party marketing group, and you have 10 people there working. You have 2-3 people backstage. You have 2-3 people doing interviews. You have 2-3 people out in the crowd. You know, like they're outside in the lobby. Yeah, man. I think if you hire a third-party marketing crew, you don't have to worry about it. You have no monopolization, and they do all the work. And it's their job, literally, to give you good promotions, and that includes like creating hype for the shows. That includes using that footage to like backstage Olympia, for example, to hype up the next Olympia, or like create stories and create personas for the athletes, give the fans an inside look at the athletes, like even backstage, like pumping up, flexing. Like there's just so many ways to grow the sport. And like I literally have notes on it, dude. I have like endless notes on how to change the sport, because this is something I've been thinking about for a long time. And given that like I have the education behind me, I just feel like I can at least I've never been able to use the education before. So at least finally I'm like, cool, there's like a use for it, you know?
Right. Well, here's the I don't want to keep just cutting Joe out of it. But here's the question. If you he's just chilling. That was me for like the first 20 minutes. I'm just like,
Sorry, Joe.
oh yeah. Yeah.
All good. It's all good.
Here's the question. If you got offered an opportunity to work with a small Canadian promoter for a small CPA, right? CPA?
Yeah.
CPA show, would that be something you'd be considered doing, is trying to help them make a example of what bodybuilding shows could be or should be? That's the question.
You go first, Joe. I've been talking.
Yeah, like 100% I would, because I think like I feel like a lot of the people that are doing it, you know, no offense, but a lot of them are older, you know, too. Like they're in their 40s, they're in their 50s, even 60s. So it's like they're, like Tyler said, it's like kind of outdated the way they're doing things. And you know, to try and reach more of an audience and reach a younger audience and just get people more excited about going to shows, and like you need to change things up and, you know, do it a little differently, because like, you know, like I'm sure, like, I'm not speaking for just myself when I say, you know, you kind of get sick of the way they operate at like some of these shows, when it's like it could be so much better. You could get a better venue, you could invest into it more and have so much more going on, you know. Like I feel like, yeah, like I would say like the best show I've seen in Canada, like this year at least, is the Fuad show. Like the way he put into the, like the venue, the setup, everything looked great. I wasn't there, but I just saw like the videos and pictures, and I'm like that show looked better than the Toronto Pro.
Yeah,
Like,
I have messages from people saying like the show is unreal.
Yeah, and I feel like if more shows were kind of like that, you know, to that regard, then like it would just make people more excited about it.
Remember when
And
they
just
used
like,
to
oh,
do it? Remember like back in the day when the regional shows were like big?
yeah.
Remember provincials too? Like provincials was like,
Oh, it'd be like
holy
500
shit.
people. Like,
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
insane. Like that's why I think I said it in the last podcast, but I said like we need to bring back the tier system, because
yeah,
there's no level, and it's like people are going from regional level to nationals, and they're either going to get their ass handed to them completely, or they're just not going to do it. And once they get
Yeah.
their ass handed to them, they're not doing it again. So you're losing all these athletes, and now like, I mean, frig, they keep adding more shows, and it's like there's 40 shows in the year. So it's like you're getting 2 to 3 people per show, and there's a lot of people who are like, well, I don't want to do a regional show, because if I do a regional show, then I have to go right to nationals. Right? There's no tier system for people to like develop organically. It's like, here you place top 3 because there were 2 people, and now go against the Wolves now.
Oh wow.
With the Wolves, right?
Yeah.
But to go on your question, yeah, I would 100%, 1000%. I would be like, that is a goal of mine. Like I really want to work with a show. Like if I had a promoter say like, come help me with my show, that would be like the best experience ever, because like, yeah, I can finally use my my education for something, but also because like, you know, some like Fuad clearly, like I care. Like I really want, like Joe, like I would really want to put on a really good show. Like we're not cheaping out, but like specifically we're gonna make money. Like we're not just gonna throw a show on. Like yeah, I'm not trying to offend anyone, but like it really feels like they're just like, we'll just get the show on.
Yeah.
Let's just try and get it together. Like let's just get the venue.
They're like, yeah, it's kind of like they're like herding cattle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. And it's like,
like the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
man. There's no growth.
It's disappointing, you know?
Yeah. And then also, you know, just to talk about like bikini, how many bikini shows do you think have happened in the last 8 weeks that you've never heard of? Pro shows.
Pro shows, yeah. No, I don't know, man. I think there was Toronto Pro, I guess.
No, man, we had the Patriot Cup. We had there's Golden. I mean, there's so many shows. I didn't even know, because I like to go through and actually look at them and see like who competed and who won. And I saw that Ashley K. Cultwasser, she did one of them, and like I've never even heard of the show before. So I was like where's the promotion? Like how? And to only do promotion after the fact, you're missing out on so much.
Yeah,
you've got a Miss Olympia competing at your show, and there's just nothing going on.
That's why I said, like, with the marketing company, like that's what I would love to do that. Like I would love to like run the marketing for the shows, because I would be like, yeah, like Ashley K is doing the show, or like, you know, even Toronto Pro, like you had I'd be like, can Joe overcome his what was his name? Sorry, Muhammad. Like,
Yeah.
like that would be interesting because Joe is the hometown boy, right? Like, can the Canadian guy like there's so many different stories that you could have made. Like there's so many different, like that's what you need in the sport. And like one thing I would love to add too is like press conferences. I don't know why we don't have
Oh,
like the Olympia press conference is like literally one of my favorite parts of the weekend. So it's like I don't know why we don't have like a post show or something, like pre-show maybe, or post show. Like maybe post show you do like the top 3 or
Yeah, like it would be cool too, because like, you know, it's like the pre and post fight press conference where it's like
yeah,
the guys are talking before, they're, you know, they might shit talk each other, whatever.
shit
It's all
talk.
good fun. And then,
Yeah.
you know, you go up there, you do it, and then after, then they talk after, whatever. And I think that would make it more entertaining, and it's just more excitement around it, you know?
Yeah, between the excitement and entertainment, it's like now you're giving the athletes a personality. Like you're giving the fans you're giving the fans an opportunity to connect with the athlete and like relate to the athlete and be like, okay, this is like, we're much more than just muscle. We're much more than just like our bodies. So it's like a lot of people, yeah, will look at us for physical motivation or gym motivation, whatever, but like they don't know us as people a lot of the time. Now we have social media to do that, but the press conferences would really give the fans an opportunity, especially if you're doing a live press conference where you have fans there, right? Like asking
right, in person.
Yeah, and then it gives more content. Like that is literally the name of the game, is content. So like why would you not want as much bodybuilding content as you can possibly pump out? Because guess what? The press conference, you can sponsor it. You could have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 sponsors just for that press conference. And guess what? You can live stream the press conference and you have a separate sponsors for the live stream.
Yep.
Like this is, and I'm not trying to be rude, but like this is like basic. Like this is like,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I took sponsored course, so I like maybe it's not basic, but I think it's just it is for this day and age. There's so many, because we're in a digital age too, virtual age, whatever you want to call it. But like there's so many more opportunities to make money for the promoter. And like I'm gonna say it that way because like I hope a promoter watches this and like gets her ears perked up, because like there's more money to be made for the promoter. And if there's more money to be made for the promoter, then there's going to be more money to be made for the athletes.
Yep. And there's gonna be better quality content made for the fans.
Yeah, everyone wins. I don't see the downside.
No, it's just you have to put that effort in, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to do that. Yeah. I mean, I am completely available for hire. If people want to send me 3 athletes that are going to be doing a show in 3 different divisions, and you have them on the week before, get to know them, learn their Instagram handles. Like you said, Tyler, get to know the athlete beyond just the bodybuilder. I'd love to do that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
And you're doing a lot of work for the promoter too, right? And you're not getting anything out of it.
Well, that's why I said hire.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a small show I've never heard of. Like,
Yeah.
you know, to be honest, like if I'm going to be covering like when I did the Indie Pro, like I talked with Dave, and like, you know, we had a really good conversation, and, you know, he sent me a poster. Like it was a mutual coverage.
Yeah.
But like say something for like the Olympia, they don't give 2 craps if I'm covering that show or not.
Yeah, like things like that, they're like, we're just gonna stick to the status quo type of thing, right? And like
Yep.
Joe said, and I'm not talking about the Olympia, I'm talking about like other, like, you know, other shows or whatever, but because they actually have been at least improving.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of the shows are just like, oh, gonna stick to the status quo. This is what worked before. It's gonna keep working. And it's like, nah, like we're in a different age now. Like the people it was working for, that was like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. And the demographic now is a social media demographic. So why don't you try and appease the social media demographic by creating content, by promoting the athletes, by live streams, by sponsors, by content, by pictures. Like there's videos, like there's like you need content. We're in a content age, and like Joe said, I think it's just a little bit outdated and needs to. There's just room for improvement, I think.
Yes, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Did you guys watch the Puerto Rico Pro at all?
I saw the highlights, I guess, like you could say, with the pictures and such. I didn't watch the actual show.
Yeah.
And the only person that really, I guess, like stood out to me was obviously Hassan.
Yep.
and him showing up in crazy condition finally, which was good to see. And, you know, I was happy for him because, like, you know, he's got the body parts and he's got the muscle. It's just a matter of nailing it. And he finally did. So, you know, if he can kind of like repeat that and bring that to the Olympia or better, then I think for sure he could be in probably the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Hassan's like a just an absolute freak. Like I
Yeah.
saw like Nick's Strength and Power or whatever. He's like, oh, he was like kind of like downplaying how good. He's like, he didn't really look much better this time, like not what we're expecting or something. I'm like, I don't know, man. I thought he's never looked like that. Like look at his face.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't look like the same person because his face is so drawn in. Like his biceps are completely split.
There's actually
his side leg is like, he's not, I don't think he's flexing his glute, but his side leg is incredible.
There's actually a comparison I think Dan put up right here. Yeah, I mean, you can see it in the face.
Tell me that's not significant.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like,
way better conditioning.
Like, if I'm critiquing him, I would say he just needs a little bit better posing, I think.
Yeah.
A little tighter, whatever, but like he looking like that, he's still a very serious threat at the Olympia for top 10. But I do think his posing is not very advantageous for his physique. I think if he just gets a little bit better at posing for his physique, and comes in like a little bit tighter, I'm sure he'll come in a little bit bigger. Maybe he looks kind of flat, actually. I think he's just so massive that you can't really tell.
A little flat, I guess. Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more pop.
Yeah, like it's not. I'm not saying he's flat, but like for him, I think he's relatively flat because he looks just like he came in peeled, came in drawn in a little bit, because they're probably just pushing conditioning, push the dryness. But it's still a good look. Like I'm just saying, like that's how much more he can improve, even just on this physique.
Yeah, I mean, very impressive transformation from last year to this year.
Yeah.
I think we're all rooting for him to, come into the Olympia with the same, if not better, a better package.
I'm actually doing a photo shoot with him possibly in like a month.
Wow. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool.
Heck yeah. You can do that for like MD or for what? Oh, Jed North. Heck yeah.
Yeah, with Hassan and I believe Brandon Mendoza as well. He's an amateur bodybuilder.
Okay.
Nice.
Very nice. 212. Do you guys really watch 212 much?
Not as much, no.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
So like my first probably 5 interviews were all 212 guys. So I got a big heart for the 212 guys. I actually have I can't even remember anymore. I think I have Jason Lowe and I think I have Derek Oslin. I think both of them are coming on next week. So but those guys and I'm also going to have Bo on next week as well. So just a great division.
Won the show.
So this guy, let me pull my notes. So the guy who won the 212 was OSWALDO GONZALEZ, which is this one.
Yeah, okay. And then Bo got second?
Yep, Bo got second. Yep.
Okay. I was just wondering because like Bo from only these pictures has better shape, but the guy on the right has like kind of better conditioning.
Yeah.
Still has really good shape, but yeah, he looks shredded though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
really good.
It's close.
Oh wow, look at the guy on the right though. Look at his freaking glute.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Emmanuel Rodriguez goes by Enrod Cuban Freak.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he's a monster.
Some of the comments. Where's Hassan?
Where's Hassan?
212, buddy.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. Emmanuel, he's a monster. I can't remember what show he did, but I saw a comparison of him next to Flex Lewis, and I thought it was a conversation maybe in the next 5 years or so. It was Emmanuel has some great proportions. And then also Abdullah Assaif on the left, came in 4th. So just a
That guy
solid lineup.
got 3rd on the right.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good.
Mhm. I thought he did the Ireland Pro, the 212 Ireland, but I went back and watched the video and I didn't see him. So,
dude, I don't even know half these shows you're talking about.
yeah, bro, I'm telling you, it's like a full-time job. Like,
Yeah,
as soon as I take my uniform off, it's just digging into NPC News Online.
I just wish they kind of took a UFC approach. Like, they have a UFC page and they promote the heck out of every freaking show. So it's like, I don't know why there's not like an IFBB page that like like pushes every show. Like every single pro show should have its own hype and like, or at least just like a poster.
Just post a poster
like,
and tag the athletes.
Yeah.
Like, it's not hard. I do it.
Or like post like the athletes doing a show. Like we wait for Bodybuilder Without Borders to post the athlete list. Like, how does he get it before?
Yeah.
He doesn't. He just sits there on IFBB Pro and just waits for it. Yeah. I mean, I do the same thing. Like, it's just what you got to do.
That's awesome.
I'm going to give a plug because I love these guys. I don't know the gentleman who runs this page, but he runs all of these classic physique news, men's physique, and he does such a phenomenal job. He or she, apologies. They do such a.
Why don't they do YouTube?
I don't know.
They should.
They really should, because they put a lot of energy into this.
I was gonna say, even if they don't, this is actually still, all these pages are very well done.
Yep. Yeah, the logos. I mean, it's great. He does a great job, or they do a great job.
The Toronto show though, did they?
No, they're kind of slacking on.
Oh yeah, they've been slacking since New York.
Yeah.
Damn.
But they usually do the big shows at least.
Yeah.
Here's last year's Toronto.
Yeah, last year. So that kid won the amateur show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he won the amateur show, and then he won the pro show the next day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why. Like, yeah, I thought it was really cool.
What a monster.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Good for him.
He came in an amateur, and now he's going to the Olympia, right? Like, that's crazy.
Isn't that the dream, man?
Yeah. You almost did it though, Joe. You got 4th last, or 2 years ago, did you? 2 or 3 years ago?
Oh, when I won my pro, I got 4th. Yeah, then the same. Crazy. It was like the same day, but like at night, because they did that was when they did it a little different. Yeah. That was a crazy weekend, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I wanted to give them a plug because no one really does that, you know. Like, I wish I could. I wish I had the finances to pay an assistant to run, especially all the shows that don't have Instagram pages. The New York Pro does not have an Instagram page. Like, one of the biggest shows. These are the weird things I notice. Yeah.
Hey, listen, if anyone's listening out there and they want to hire someone, I would absolutely love to do it. Like, I would 100%. That would, I have whatever, my bodybuilding and coaching, but I would love to do that too. That'd be like my favorite thing ever, I think.
Yeah, just build Instagram pages for shows.
Just promote the sport, like,
or promote just run a page that just posts nothing but all I need but contests.
Just give me the content. Like, send someone with a camera, or like working with the promoter, so the promoter sends me all the competitor lists. Like, then I could find the competitors and like message them, tell them to send their pictures, like promote them. Like, you know, there's just so many ways to do it. Or like use the content from the last show, because if you're using good photography and good videography, then you can use that to promote the next year's show. So I would do that. I'd be like, this is like the New York Pro from last year. I would have like 6 shots of like people backstage on the stage getting their awards. Like, you want those moments of people like having their name called out for winner. Like, those are the moments that mean the most to people. And like, if you had that on video or whatever, or photos or whatever, and you can create a collage or a video or reel or whatever, like, that would speak volumes to people wanting to do the show. I'd be like, wow, like, look at the production of that show. Like, that's awesome. I really want to do, like, I would do that as an athlete if that was like the New York Pro. Like, we kind of see these shows as like the top shows or whatever, and like, I want to do the Olympia because there's so much coverage, but it's like, why is there not coverage for every other show?
Mm-hmm. Especially if it's an Olympia qualification show.
There was
Yep.
nothing in Toronto, dude. We had Muscle Insider do an interview, and that was it.
Yep. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys. I can't tell you how many times I've messaged promoters asking NPC shows, asking for a competitor list. Like, hey, can you just give me who's doing what so I can just make a post and tag everyone in
Yeah.
like bare minimum promotion. And
Yeah.
and that's me just doing it just because I love the sport and just nothing. Crickets.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some improvements to be done. So
Mhm.
hopefully people take this in a positive way, because I mean we all love bodybuilding. We only want it to be better.
Constructive. Like I just want to see the growth, the sport grow, and I want to see
Yep.
the athletes kind of get treated a little better, sort of thing. Like a little bit more, just more exposure, more opportunity. Yeah, just create. I mean, man, like we're pro athletes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like in the grand scheme of things, at the end of the day, like we're pro athletes, and I don't think like anyone would ever look at us like that. You know?
Yeah. Everyone thinks it's a hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say on First Attachments team, Douglas Fouché, open guy, he works with Muscle Icon Media, and I'm actually going to be on a call with him after this. They do a phenomenal job of well, I'll let you know firsthand because they're going to be working with me on building interesting content. See, I mean, like pictures, and they've worked on Doug's TikTok, and like just they work with what's the other guy, Brian Ainsley. So
Yeah.
they've been doing a lot of great stuff for helping promote bodybuilding. So I'm looking forward to them helping me to make this channel better,
Cool.
more structured too.
Yeah.
So if you guys can find something like that, a media agency that can help you grow your TikTok and your Instagram and understand what your fans really want to see, you know, even on the promoter side, same.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, Toronto Pro, or not the Toronto Pro, but the Puerto Rico Pro was great. I don't think they had a live stream. I didn't see it, and I'm usually
Oh, they
the
did.
person who knows.
No, they didn't have one.
Yeah.
Which again, like I think it was a pretty big show. So
Yeah, it was a fairly big show. Definitely something people were looking out for. Men's classic physique.
those guys looked really good.
Yeah, Emmanuel Riccoti ended up winning that show.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. I thought the second place guy was like peeled out of his mind, it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy looks pretty big, I guess.
It looks good. I heard some conversations about this, at least this third and fourth guy, or second and third guy, were just monsters.
I saw one guy, I think it was him. Yeah, him.
Carlos Dommar.
Maybe you should, oh, you know what? Maybe it's just look how peeled he is.
Yeah. That's
Maybe
classic.
he's smaller, like that's the only thing I can think of it. But I mean, Camilo Diaz, I think he's on the left, right?
Yeah, right here. Yep.
Like he's massive, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, man. I guess it's hard to see like when you're not there, but that kid looks like shredded out of his mind. I'm kind of confused, to be honest. He looks pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, I would go with this all day. No disrespect to
Of
Emmanuel.
course not. Like I can justify Emmanuel winning if it's based on size.
Yep.
Because like I said, we're not there, but just looking at the pictures, it doesn't look like he sacrifices much size. So it's I'm
Wow.
yeah, man. I don't know. I'm just curious as to what the reasoning behind the placings were, to be honest, because I mean I'm looking at this picture, and the guy on the left, the middle left, his leg is massive, his glute is completely shredded, his arm is massive, his chest is massive.
Yeah.
His color, I think his color looks really good. Maybe it's a little bit, I don't know, too dark. I think it looks really good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not taking away from the physique.
No, and the guy on the right, no disrespect, but he kind of has a lighter tan.
Yeah. I don't think the legs are very comparable.
No, if I were judging just by the shot, like that's not even, it's not even comparable. His side leg is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, Carlos in the middle. And then with this one, they put Kevin Hindi in the middle here.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be rude, but that's not comparable between the two. And the guy on the left, Carlos.
Yeah,
dude, I don't know, man. Like you can see here between the guys on the left and right, there's a bit of a density difference between the guy on the right and the left. Like the guy on the right he looks thicker in the chest and back, a little bit thicker, like density in the arms.
Yep.
Thicker definitely in the legs, but I don't know, man. I'm a conditioning guy, shape guy. I think the guy on the left, I don't know. I mean, who knows? Like, what was even the score? Maybe it was close. I don't know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they don't post the scorecards too often where they actually show like them penning it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that back,
Look at the lower back.
Yeah, he's peeled.
Jeez. Yeah, he brought it.
That I haven't even hit that conditioning yet. Like I'm a conditioning guy. Like that looks pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that looks nasty.
Yeah,
it looks nasty, right, Joe?
Yeah. That's the best way to describe it. Nasty conditioning.
Wow.
That's nasty conditioning right there. That's peeled right there.
Jeez.
And like no offense, but like the back thickness too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The glute tie-in, if you want to count that, but the back thickness, like, oh my god,
Yeah.
Look at his traps, dude. His traps are like bolts, like.
I feel like if he does another show, he'll probably win.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Well,
Is
it's probably just because you gotta factor in, like, as much as we don't like to think, there always is a little bit of political factor in there. So it's like if he's from somewhere way outside of where they're competing and nobody knows about him, has no social media, XYZ, it's like he looks great, but it's like they're gonna recognize the other guys just because they recognize them, you know. So it's like they'll get pulled into the call outs before this guy, even if he looks great, and then he gets into the mix, and it's like they're obviously their eyes are drawn to the ones they know more than the ones they don't. So it's like indirectly they're almost like favoring guys they know better over guys they don't, just because like it's like recognizing, like, to go and watch your friend compete, you're automatically going to be a little bit biased to your friend competing and thinking that they look better than someone else, you know, even if someone else actually does look better objectively, you know. So that's almost like one of those. But like I think if that guy does another show, like for sure he could clean the house.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Staying on the conditioning conversation, I also wanted to plug a guy. I believe he won his pro card this weekend. Jonas Giatras. Apologies if I butchered it. But I think he won his pro card and then also competed that day, or if this is just his debut, I'm not sure.
Is that the guy who works with Chris Aceto, I think? I think he does.
Maybe.
I don't think he won his pro card, did he? I thought he just did the show for.
Yeah, maybe it was just a debut. Yeah.
I think it was his debut. Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, he's a first attachment. Look at
Nice.
Oh, is he?
that.
Or no, that's Bodybuilders Without Borders.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. Yep.
Yeah, that's Daniel. Yeah.
But yeah, he does work with Chris. Yep.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, he looks pretty damn peeled.
Freaky. He did a great job. Fantastic mustache, I must say.
Yeah.
Really arches over the lip. It's nice.
Joe, can you do that?
What's that?
Can you do that with your tricep? Can you bend like that?
Like that?
Yeah, like that's pretty far back, dude.
I don't know.
I don't think I can do that. And I'm
I don't
plastic.
think I could, man.
I'm like 50 pounds less than this guy, probably. I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, he must have some long ass arms to do that, I think. I don't think I could do that.
I got short, little stubby limbs all over.
Yeah, great conditioning.
It's good, man.
Yeah. Third place pro debut.
Oh, not bad. That's awesome.
That's not bad at all.
Yep. And then he beat Andrea Muzi and Maxx Charles.
What? No way.
Yeah.
Man, they've been shafting Max this whole year, man.
Yeah.
I think it's because he's, in my opinion, he seldomly shows up 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like he shows up off a lot just to do a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
But like he'll always look decent from the front, but then he turns around and that's where he loses.
Yeah, that's true. It's such
His
a great
his backside is not a strong suit.
Yeah, that's true.
And
It's
there's no
just
content.
it's deceiving because look at his midsection there. Like you're not going to find a better midsection in the open class. I don't think.
Yeah, because
So
I beat him last year when we did the
nice.
Legion.
That's a good win.
Yeah, because
How'd you
like
do
he
at
was.
the Sports Fest. That was in November, right?
Yeah. It was like it was a few weeks before the Toronto Pro, I think.
Right. How do you do in that one?
I ended up 6th.
Oh, it's not
Yeah,
bad.
it was
That
a
was a
big.
good
It was
show,
a
though.
pretty. It was a big lineup. Yeah, there was a lot of
Yeah.
good guys in that lineup. Yeah.
That was a good line.
That's the one that it was Sergio versus Sean Clarita versus
Regan. That was the top 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah, people were like sleeping on
fun,
Sean.
man.
I was like, dude, this guy's packed with muscle. He's super balanced, super thick, super dense, and super shredded. Like,
Yeah, man. As soon as I saw Sean backstage, I was like, okay, he won.
that's what I thought.
You know
I'm
what I
like, man, no one's putting this guy. People were putting him like 6th. I'm like,
Yeah.
because everyone's so like weight obsessed. So they're like, oh, there's no way 175 pounds can win. It's like,
No,
okay,
he's
5'0".
looks
Like,
dude, he looks like a mini Ronnie Coleman in person.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
yeah,
Like it's insane. Like the guy just like has that like plastic sort of granite look to him, you know? It's crazy.
super thin skin, and it's like everything is just like deep cut. Fits,
Yeah.
like,
Just pops.
yeah, it's ridiculous. Like I don't know why people
Yeah.
are sleeping on that guy. He is like literally what a Mr. Olympia would look like. Like there's no flaws. I honestly don't see any flaws on his physique, to be honest.
No. He's pretty much maxed out his physique, and like he's in my opinion, size wise, like I don't know how much bigger he could possibly get, but
He keeps getting bigger.
he keeps seeming to add a little bit each year, but it's pretty crazy, man. Like the level of physique he's developed is insane.
He kind of reminds me of like Nick Walker, just like a mini version of, not even mini, but a mini version of Nick Walker, like just packed with gobs of muscle, like hard muscle.
Yeah. Freaky. Yeah, I like that. Like he's a pocket Nick Walker.
Yeah, like same back, like they have the same, like their back double bicep looks very similar, like in the legs, the glutes, even in the back, and the biceps. Obviously, Nick's are like 25 inches, but you know, relative to his size, they look pretty big.
Yeah. You think he's gonna go back to the 212 this year?
Yeah, I think so.
I
think it makes most sense. Like
Yeah.
he can hang in the open, but when it comes to the Olympia, like he's not going to win the open Olympia. So I don't think he's going to bother, because like, what's the point of doing both when you could, I think he could easily win the 212 again, especially if Lunsford moves up. So
I think he could have a run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see anyone beating 212. I agree. I honestly think he's the Ronnie of 212. Yeah, Derek could beat him, but Derek's an open guy, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, 100%, man. He has to like suck down like crazy to get 212.
He loses his pop. Like he loses his whole upper, like chest, back,
like
arms.
flat.
Yep.
Fuck.
And it's like,
Yep.
man,
Yeah.
I just looked at him 2 weeks ago in the gym full, and he looked like Mr. Olympia there, but he was probably like 240.
Yeah, like I think when he's like in the 230s, 240s, he looks insane. He's peeled, and then like he sucks down to 212 and just looks like, it's still impressive, but it's like, man, you could be way more impressive if you're a bit bigger and did the open.
Yeah, I think he could be top 5 in the open. And you're right, like about Sean, like the Olympia is a big man show.
Yeah, like,
that's it. That's all. You got to be big, man. You got to be 280, 260, whatever. Like the big.
Yeah, you got to be big. Yeah, it's facts.
My question is, do you think Hottie would ever go back to 212?
Nah.
No.
Nah, he should have won. I thought he could have won the Olympia, so I don't think he has any reason to go back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Derek's a freak.
Dude, it looks like
he
himself. Like it's insane. He looks massive. Just look how full, like his lats, dude. Like his legs look photoshopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just nuts, man.
Wow.
Like, and that's his off season, you know. That's nuts.
That's insane. Like he could walk in any show and probably win like that. Like, you know what I mean?
Literally though.
Wow. Yeah, that kid's got a lot of potential if he's. I mean, whatever. He's obviously Miss Olympia, so but in the open stream, I really believe he could be a real threat. I think he only took things seriously, like really seriously, like within the last few years, because I remember hearing something about Hani talking about like he had to change his mindset, which I'm just assuming maybe is like his routine, like his basically what I did, and went from like kind of just bodybuilding as a hobby to bodybuilding as a full-time job. Like that's what he looks like he did, because he just went from like, you know, a good 212 guy to maybe like pushing Mr. Olympia for the open, you know?
Yeah.
Did you guys get to see the Monster Zym Pro at all this weekend as well?
I saw a few pictures, and I don't know, those shows to me, I'm just like, I feel like they're not always judged very well. So
yeah, or fairly.
Yeah, it's the best word for it. And I just think, I don't know, from the pictures I saw, it didn't look like everybody. I didn't think everybody was in crazy conditioning, from what I saw. But like, it's, you know, pictures are always hard to tell. But yeah, it didn't look like a super stacked lineup.
No, I think it was pretty, I'd say, somewhat competitive for the top four, and then you know, no disrespect to the bottom three, but yeah, between Sung Cho Lee here and Sibisu Cotello, this guy, and the winner over here, Mona Sur.
Oh, he won?
Yeah, he won. He ended up winning. Yep.
Oh.
Like, he's the only one that looks like he's actually in condition.
Yep.
Like the other guys look like full, but they're not really like peak conditioning.
I don't know if it's the angle either, but their legs don't look the same size as their upper. I don't know if it's just a bad angle or what.
It could be the angle, but like, because I think it's like a video.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, like for me, the biggest thing I noticed was just the conditioning.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that one guy looks like he's in condition, and then the other guys not so much.
Oh man, I'm not trying to be rude, but even the guy on the right, like, doesn't look.
Well, I just feel like the guy, yeah, like to the right of the guy that won, like his conditioning.
Right?
Oh,
yeah,
Sung Cho Lee. Yeah.
His conditioning could definitely be a lot sharper, and I feel like if he actually was sharper, he'd smoke them. Like, because he's got like crazy
big
muscle bellies.
Yeah, he's big and round.
Yeah, it's one of those. I don't know why. It's just like certain guys, like you see coming out of like the other countries. It's like sometimes they have all the body parts, and it's like they just, you know, they don't put it. They just don't come in as dry. But yeah, because I think that guy did the Olympia, and he was like, even at the Olympia, he wasn't in the greatest condition.
No, he was. I think he fell out of the 16th. He was in the same comparison with Regan and
just in the bottom.
I didn't know he was at the Olympia, to be honest. I recognize the name, but
yep. So he won last year's Monster Zym.
Oh, okay.
Against Samson, I think it was Samson Dowda.
Okay.
Oh, that was the one that was really controversial. Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I was gonna say that was a good win, but yeah, okay.
No, it was. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it was like a fair win. That's for sure.
No. But, I remember covering it. It was And then also I want to give some love to Diego Cruz, I think his name is. This guy, he trains out of Flex Lewis's gym.
Oh, okay.
I thought he looked good. In my preview video, I even said like he could have moved up a couple places because the Sung Cho Lee just wasn't as.
I was gonna say that guy looked pretty shredded too. Is he on the left?
Yeah, Diego right here.
I like his physique a lot, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, he works with Milos.
I like the way, like, his shoulders are popping, arms are. Look at his triceps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and then Subuisos. Sorry, bud. Sorry. Wasn't sharp. The midsection was distended.
Yeah, you got third.
Yeah, yep. And he was the same guy that he wasn't able to compete at Brazil, at the Arnold Brazil, because he didn't show up in time.
Right.
Yeah, so that's that guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say it goes red, and then the guy on the left.
Yep.
In my opinion, but I'm not there too, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, photos aren't great.
Look at his back though.
Yeah, the back is what really got me.
Like, I don't know. I would, whatever.
Yeah. What do they call it? Sunday or Monday morning quarterbacks or something.
Yeah, like, you know,
armchair
quarterbacks. The show's already over, so it is what it is.
Yeah. So, but you know, congratulations to everybody. Mo Nassur. I don't know why I say it like a French person, but congratulations on the Olympia. And then, yeah, that was pretty much it for Open and 212. There was also the, yeah, I'm really going to bore you guys with that one, but there was an Iraqi pro just in the 212. And Ahmed Fawzi, I think his name was. Let me see if I can find him. He ended up winning that one. Anywho, so congratulations to those guys as well. But yeah, it was a good weekend for bodybuilding.
Apparently, I had no idea. I didn't even know there was a show except for Puerto Rico.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta stay tuned to Bodybuilders Without Borders. He'll always post at least the posters.
Yeah, you know what I do, honestly, and no offense to him, because I actually really appreciate everything he does, but sometimes I mute his posts, not because of like I don't want to see his post, but because like if I'm doing a show, I don't want to like catch something before the show. Like I don't like looking at people I'm competing against.
Sure.
And it's funny because I'll go to a show and people are like, "Oh, I saw you in Bodybuilders Without Borders all the time." And it's like I don't even look at his stuff when I'm in prep. Like I do after the show and whatever, because it's like it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I sometimes like mute his. I hope he doesn't see this, but I sometimes mute his stuff just so I don't accidentally catch like someone I'm competing against. I don't know. At this point, I kind of don't really like want to see it, but I'm in a better headspace now like than I was before.
Yeah.
Where I'm kind of like, whatever. Like you kind of just have to like roll with it, kind of just flow into the show and kind of just do your thing, right? And now being a pro, like you kind of have to like get used to it, I guess.
Yeah, I think you'd understand. Do you do anything like that, Joe?
I don't really care. Like I don't mute anybody, but like I just go in like I'm like focused on myself, so I don't really care what somebody else like. Because I've had lots of times in the past, like when I was an amateur or whatever, it's like, you know, you see some guy and he looks crazy on Instagram, and then in person it's just not the same, right? So like I always factor that into it, where it's just like, you know, until you guys line up on stage when it counts, it really doesn't matter.
It's funny because I actually look like way worse on Instagram, I think, and I've been told that like by literally everybody. Because one, I'm not good at taking pictures. Like most of my picture with my iPhone, and like two, with me, like one, I'm really white, like really, really white, so you don't get to see a lot of the detail. And then also because it's a static photo, like with me specifically, like my body isn't very like big. Like it's not like a big like body. So I don't look that crazy impressive when I'm in a static photo. I'm not saying I'm crazy impressive, but like I just look that much different when I'm in person, because then you can see the like the density, the thickness, but also like the detail too, right? So it's funny because I'm like, people think I look way worse in these photos, and then they see me on stage and like what you see in the picture doesn't necessarily translate on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good to keep that in mind for all of you out there that are getting ready for shows. Don't psych yourself out.
Yeah, I made a post about that actually in my Q&A. It's just all ego. Like that's kind of all it is.
Yeah. Comparing
yourself to others, getting like jealous or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing the work, then you're doing the work, and you just kind of follow your guidance. Like your coach has the wheel, and you just do as your coach says, and you don't have to think about it. You don't have to stress about it. And if it doesn't work out, then you reevaluate after the show and sort of adapt and just keep taking your steps forward. If that means like leaving your coach if it wasn't a good fit, like that just means, you know, go back to the drawing board. Like you can't win every show, right? So you kind of just have to like check your ego and like just kind of do your thing, man. You know.
That's the takeaway here is even with the last one, you know, checking your ego, making sure you're being stoic in the moment.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what's funny? Actually, I tried to watch that last night, but remember how I was saying I get like really tired?
Yeah.
I was watching it and I just got super comfortable in my chair and I freaking slept through like 40 minutes of it.
Yeah.
I woke up, I'm like, oh man, I missed like the whole thing. It's so funny.
Yeah, I rewatch all these because I have to edit it, and
Yeah.
I really enjoy rewatching it because I can really take the nuggets out.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah, actually, I was talking with Abby Bolton, and she was like, "I'm 40 minutes into it. This is like the best podcast ever." So,
that's good.
it was good. I'm
Yeah.
actually gonna have her and Mindy on right after you guys. So
Yeah.
Nice.
They're both local here.
Yep.
Yeah.
For some reason, like the Canadian people they show up,
Yeah.
Those Americans like me,
Dude,
they
we
just
don't have anything here. We have no media here. We're like, oh man,
there's nothing else to do but talk with me.
Yeah.
Give us some exposure over here.
Yeah, I don't mind if I can help advocate for athletes and promote shows, then I'm doing my passion. So gosh, been about 2 hours. How you guys feeling?
I gotta go to the gym in a bit, so
Yeah,
I gotta eat probably soon.
that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I could probably go to the gym too.
Slave to my meals, man. Joe's a slave to his routine. He's like, oh man, I'm 5. Like I gotta get my pre-meal in. I gotta drive to the gym.
That's all I'm thinking about now. I'm like,
watching the clock. He's like, okay, I've got 7 minutes left until I go catabolic.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Joe, you want to plug your stuff, and then Tyler, you can plug your stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So my Instagram is coachlittlejoe, and I'm also sponsored by First Attachment Nutrition. It's in my bio. The link's there for if you want to for any supplements, and I have a code Relentless10. And then shout out to my tanning sponsor Liquid Sun Rays, as well as my suit sponsor Crystal Suits. That's pretty much it. And then there's my Instagram if you're looking for any coaching. I have a link tree where you can apply for coaching, complete the questionnaire and stuff, and then
Cool.
I gotta do that. That's cool.
Yeah, link tree. Bro, it's where it's at. It is.
Dude, I don't know anything, man.
I didn't even set that up. I had someone else set it up for me.
Oh yeah, I'll do the same.
Oh, you're lucky, bro.
Yeah.
I gotta
get someone to help. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get it, man. It's so easy.
Yeah, I'll get someone to help me with that for sure. I'm definitely not gonna do it.
No, I didn't do it myself at all. I had someone do it for me because I'm like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. I guess,
you guys.
My Instagram's Tyler Johnson @ I think it's dot or underscore.
Underscore, yep.
Okay, Tyler Johnson _ IFBB. My coaching page is Ascension Fitness 22. And then I also have a code for Jed North Clothing. I'm actually wearing their shirt right now. Code Tyler, and you can save 15% off. And I highly recommend you do it because it helps me out too.
Yep. And make sure you put it in your bio so people can snag it.
Yeah, I got to do it once I sign the contract and everything. But
I got you.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think
people have been bugging me for it. Like, I guess I'm on the website because I did a photo shoot with them one time.
Oh, nice.
I keep getting messages like, "Hey, man, do you have a code?" I'm like, "No." So I messaged them and we've been talking whatever. But I was like, "Yeah, man. Like, people keep asking for a code, and like my friends would use it for sure." Because like I don't know about you guys, but like I sometimes like if I'm gonna go buy clothing or like supplements or whatever, like I always look for a code because everyone has a code now. So I'm like, why am I going to pay full price if I can get like 10-15% off and also help that athlete out? Like right now, basically, I'll post like whatever. Like let's say I had like one of Joe's supplement sponsors or whatever, and I had like a protein or whatever. I would post it and then post his code, right? Because it's like I don't have a code, but I use the product, and like at least my friends and whatever can save using his code, and then it helps him out too, right?
Right. Yeah. Support the community, support your friends. Like that's what it's all about.
It's off me to do it, right?
Yeah.
So true.
For me, check out Miss Tasty's, the sauce. I don't have a code yet, but they're really cool. Sugar-free, sodium-free sauces, Miss Tasty's. And also if you guys like fitness apparel and clothing, you check out Ninja Viking. They make really cool weightlifting shoes at a very competitive price. So check those out. But Joe, thank you so much for making the time to come on here, man. We appreciate it very much. Tyler, phenomenal podcast again. Looking forward to continuing this. What did I decide on calling this? Northern Muscle.
Northern Muscle.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. So we'll see if I clean it up a little bit. But guys, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed another episode here on the BNN. Check out these two fine gentlemen and IFBB pros, and we'll see you guys in another one. Thanks for coming.